Okay, here we are. This is Brent with SPG, and we're here with Tanya. Hello, Tanya.
Hello, Brent.
Okay, great. So let's get into it. So for now, what's the name of the show that you are directing?
The one I'm directing is called Dear Mrs. Martin. It's by, I don't have her name memorized, Kate Aspengren.
Yep. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
Sure. It's basically it consists of a conversation that takes place between two women, but it takes place through letters that they write to each other. So they don't actually speak face to face. It's all done through the written word.
Oh, that sounds unique. What genre, what kind of style would you say this play falls into?
Oh gosh. It's a good question. I would say it's modern, contemporary.
Okay. Now, I'm not exactly a big theater person. A one-act play. Could you explain to people like me who don't really know what a one-act play is?
So despite the amount of theater I've done, I'm not a huge theater person in terms of knowing all the minutia of everything that goes on. So what I understand is one act plays are basically just shorter, like they're very condensed. A regular, say, a dinner theater production or other kind of play will have two acts, sometimes three. This one, everything happens in one act. There might be different scenes to break it up, and I think all three shows that are being presented in our one act festival have multiple scenes in them, but otherwise, other than that, it's one act.
Okay,
Clear
so
like mud.
all right, so everything's kind of tightly tightly packed together.
We get to know these characters really quickly. There's not a lot, like sometimes you can have more build up, you can have a longer time of getting to know characters, you can introduce more characters, and that's the other thing too. A lot of these really only have a couple of characters in them because you don't have a lot of time to and space to work with integrating more people into the story, if that makes sense.
That does. That's interesting. So as a
Mhm.
director, basically, I guess you could say the person running this, what kind of challenges are you facing, or have you faced, or do you think you'll face in condensing everything into such a thing?
A lot of it comes, I get a lot of help from the actors because the actors are the ones bringing the story to life. And the way they convey the messages and the way they act and move and speak, I work with that. I liken it to, Play-Doh or clay, and I'm shaping it, but then they add the little touches to it, if that
Hmm.
makes any sense. So yeah, getting, like I say, it's a very tight time frame, although mine is actually one of the longest show in the set of three.
Okay.
Um, but even then, you're trying to tell a whole story in a shortened amount of time. So it's getting to the point quickly. It's really emphasizing the key moments and the key elements of the story, to get them across to the audience.
Okay. What kind of person do you think would enjoy this show or this one act festival?
I think pretty much anyone would. I think it'll resonate more with women. It is a friendship between two women that grows. So I think the more, yeah, here we go, blah blah. Um, Women would enjoy it more, I think. But again, I think because my actors are so talented, I think anyone would enjoy it. So.
Okay. How much, I know you've got a lot of performing experience, but how much experience do you have in directing?
So this is technically my third show that I've directed. I did direct a full dinner theater several years ago, and last year I was part of the One Act Festival for the first time. So
How does this one compare to your previous directing gigs? Is there anything remarkable?
they're all different, and I know that's really kind of a non-answer. This one isn't as funny. The first one, the dinner theater that I directed, was straight up comedy.
Okay.
Last year's one act show had a little bit more. It was also had some serious themes to it, but there was a little bit more humor underlying. This one's a little darker. Maybe darker is not the right word. A little more serious.
Okay. What made you want to get involved with this one?
I like being on this side of the table. Don't get me wrong. I love performing. I will always choose being on stage. But this is something new, and I'm trying to also challenge myself and push myself and learn things and grow. And yeah, it's just a whole different experience.
Okay. Now this is just for my own curiosity. Uh,
Uh-oh.
how how does directing compare to performing? Do you think it still requires a creative process? Does it require a different kind of creative process? How do the two compare, do you think?
Yeah, I would say it's a different kind of creative process because when you're acting, you have someone else telling you, okay, I want you to do this and I want you to do that, and why don't you try this? And in directing, I'm the one saying, okay, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. How about we try this? I have, at least the last year and this year, I've tried to make it collaborative with my actors. I want it to feel like a team effort. So I'm always happy to listen to ideas. And actually, just at our last rehearsal, we had a couple of great ideas come out just through some brainstorming and trying to come up with a way to convey a certain moment in the show. And just by putting our heads together and coming up with ideas, we were able to come up with something that was even better than I could have imagined. So yeah,
Ooh, that sounds exciting.
it is exciting.
Um, okay, so let's pretend, you're doing your rehearsals or you're doing the show and you've got that 5-10 minute break. What are you doing?
At a rehearsal, you said. Honestly, at this point, I could probably be chatting with Nancy, our amazing stage manager, going over some details. Probably even just chatting with the actors. Like I'm really, really impressed with my two actors that I have. They're supremely talented and very focused, and I have no worries. I think they're going to be fantastic for this show. So we're able to be a little social in our break. There's no panic, there's no stress, at least not yet, and I don't expect there to be. So yeah, we can have a moment to get to know each other better. One of the ladies is brand new to SPG, so it's fun getting to know her. Yeah, we can be social.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that helps build chemistry. Always important to have good chemistry, yes?
For sure, for sure.
Well, let's get to know you a little bit more as a person. Okay, so let's say you're not performing, you're not directing. What can we find Tanya doing?
You can find me, although you can't see it now because of our beautiful backdrop, or what it's called, the image, me with the words, I'm telling you. That was made by Tara Hawks, who's another one of our directors in the One Act Festival. This is my sound booth. I am a professional voice actor, and so that's one other thing I do. And I'm also a professional book editor. So those are my jobs that I do when I'm not on stage.
All right, reasonable. Um, who, let's talk a little bit about the cast. And I know it's very small, but who would you say is most like their character in real life, or least like their character in real life?
As far as we've gotten so far, both of my actors, Helene Lohan Cameron and Teresa Anderson, I can't remember her name, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, Teresa and Helene they're embodying the characters, and I don't know if that's just natural or if that's, some acting involved, which I think it is, but they're very much like the characters that are written on the page. So it's kind of funny that way.
So perfectly cast then.
I'd like to think so.
All right. What comes next for you? What
What comes next
projects
for
in
me?
the future? Any hopes for the future?
Well, I will be back on stage. I'm in the cast of Jesus Christ Superstar, so I will be back on stage in May. Next year, I don't know. I might actually audition for the One Acts next year instead of being on this side of the table. Who knows? I don't know. I have to wait and see what the season announcement is and see what tickles my fancy.
Yeah, I am really looking forward to Jesus Christ Superstar.
So
I
my it's a
cannot.
bucket list show, and I've said that to I don't know how many people. So everyone's tired of me saying it, but it's a bucket list show for me. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's going to be something to look out for. All right, so this is it. We're getting near the end here. So my final question that I'm basically asking everyone: what is SPG to you? Why volunteer for SPG?
SPG is an amazing force that is bringing arts and culture to Sudbury, and it's a way for people like me and anyone out there who wants to try acting and singing and dancing, or being part of the production teams, doing costumes, working on sets. This is a way to feed your artistic side. If you don't have that already in your day-to-day life, this is what it is, and we can bring entertainment to people and enrich people's lives. I think the arts are vitally important. So I'm glad that we do what we do.
Absolutely agree. All right, well, the stage is yours. Is there anything you'd like to say at this point in time?
No, just would like to see everyone come out and see these shows. It's going to be, I think I said this on a Facebook post, but this is going to be different than SPG's usual fare. We like to do a lot of comedies, a lot of musicals. This is a little more thought-provoking, and this will be an interesting evening of theater. And on the Friday evening production, we are being adjudicated. So if people want to stay, it's open to the public, and I recommend that as a good night to come and watch, and you can see what comes of that.
Sounds good. All right, well, thanks again so much for your time.
Thank you, Brent.
You have a good night.
You too.